Subscribe.
We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just
But of
saying,
course,
you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
So this weekend, I was down in Sweet Home, Alabama. And
Yeah, I have not to cut your story because I'm very excited to hear about this.
cut me off in 2 seconds.
My brain was fried when you sent me the Snapchat with the Talladega filter on it because it said Talladega, Alabama, and my brain went into overdrive and burnt out because Talladega sounds like it should be in Florida.
You would think, right?
And I was like, wait a goddamn minute. I was like, Ricky Bobby is the most Floridian race car driver ever.
No,
Talladega. My brain was destroyed when you sent me that.
Where's Ricky Bobby even from? Like in the breakout of that film, like where's he from? Because the opening couple of scenes is him as a kid. Also, didn't know until literally this weekend that Ricky Bobby is not a national person.
Yeah, fictional race car driver.
I'm pretty sure he's based on Darrell Waltrip. I could be very wrong. I also didn't know
Ricky Bobby was born in North Carolina.
All right, see that also makes sense. And like NASCAR and all the teams are in North Carolina. I
was flabbergasted that you were in Alabama and not Florida.
I kind of totally blew off the F1 guys. I gotta jump on that show and talk Talladega because it was really crazy. Like my first NASCAR experience was really cool. I was hanging out with Kay's family, and her oldest uncle is one of the sponsors of one of the teams, of the racers. One of the rookies on track met his wife. Great couple of people. Only like 24 years old, like babies.
What does her uncle do? Like, what is the sponsorship?
He's like, I think he's the chief something, or one of the co-founders of this health insurance company called Focused Health. No free ads. Shout out to them.
Free shout out.
if he wants the sponsorship, he can have it, but for a small fee. And their racer Zane Smith, really cool guy. But yeah, so like he sponsors the car. So
that's a great race car driver name,
Zane Smith.
Zane Smith.
It's funny though because like he's from California and is like a surfer dude. He isn't really
interesting.
He doesn't scream race car driver,
right?
Like, and granted, like none of the guys really do. Like I met Joey Logano, and like Joey Logano doesn't strike me as a race car guy. He's just
I've heard he's great.
He is great. I was in the pit next door to Denny Hamlin, which was crazy. And one of Denny's like either the crew chief or one of the like guys. It turns out all of these guys that work in the pits are like former NFL athletes. Like the guys in Zane's pit, one of them played for like the Steelers and the Saints. Like they're huge because you don't realize it, but like these tires are like 80 pounds apiece. There's one guy who like, and you watch a pit stop. Their job is to literally jack the car up on each side. Mm-hmm. That jack, you're literally lifting a 1.5 ton car. So in one fall swoop, get it under, tear down this thing. I tried to do it, like you can't even fucking move it. It's crazy.
I pick things up and put them down.
Yeah, like these guys are units.
That's crazy.
And also like not to be that guy, like they're kind of handsome. Like a lot of these guys, like a good looking pack of people. It's crazy to me how. Because, like, again, having pit access and being behind the scenes and, like, kind of, I had that, like, Lightning McQueen moment where I'm like, like, you feel like you're in the inner workings of NASCAR, and it's very cool. Because it's one thing to be the guy in the grandstands who brings his cooler and his kids. But, like, then there's me, who's never been to any of these.
Who had a VIP pass around your neck.
I'm amongst people wearing Yves Saint Laurent and, like, Louis Vuitton. And the guy in the grandstands is wearing Russell Athletic and combat boots. It's like the intersection of like culture and sport is on full display at Talladega this weekend. It was crazy.
That's so sad. I've heard like it's one of those things that optically NASCAR gets like that weird rap of being like that down
hick sport.
south, like the hick sport. But every single person I've ever watched either a YouTube video of or know someone who has gone has had nothing but rave reviews about attending a NASCAR event in person, and it makes me want to go, like, just to experience it.
We should absolutely do it. They race up in Pocono. We should go to Pocono. That'd be
That'd be
sick.
sweet.
I don't. There's definitely actually the week after Talladega. So now this weekend is Dover.
Oh, that's
So
close, too.
drive down to Delaware, which would be crazy. But like the idea of NASCAR and like and again talk about like the intersection of two things. Like the people outside of the sport are again, it's like it is hicky. You have the people who walk around in jorts and high boots, and there were guys who looked like you and me wearing overalls with no shirt underneath, and like the absolute like missing teeth, gigantic beards, Duck Dynasty looking guys. Then you had the frat dude. I was making a joke to Kay. I'm like, oh, like how should I go to this? Should I look like Southern frat or should I look like Southern country boy? And like you could tell, like the frat boys are the ones in the Rush t-shirts, jeans, cowboy boots, and a backwards like baseball hat, kind of like trucker style. Then you have the hicks. Then you have the rich people who are the owners of the clubs, the VIPs. They're all oil barons and baronesses, and like it's crazy the diversity that you actually are amongst. And it like, and one thing that's actually really interesting is that like you don't talk about F1 around NASCAR. It's like an unwritten rule kind of thing. Just because like F1 is rich all around. Everywhere you look, F1 is just rich, rich, rich. Whereas like IndyCar and NASCAR are a little bit different. And technically, yes, there are like hickier versions, like the truck series is like hick. Because you're literally racing trucks. Or you could be like out by me, like out on the east end of the island, and it's like Riverhead Raceway. If you've been out here on the east end, there's a track, and like they do like dollar PBRs and like demolition derby, like that's hick. Granted, Long Island isn't really full of hicks because it's literally the town over from the Hamptons, but that's just like how life is. But yeah, it was a crazy time. I met a bunch of really cool people. I shook Michael Jordan's hand,
sir.
So Michael Jordan owns a racing team,
right?
2311 Racing. They have two racers, but Bubba Wallace, of course, the sole African American man on the circuit, and Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick wins the race. I'm about 4 pits away from Reddick's pit. We all have to, and the people in the VIP, they all diverge you out through one like corridor, which is also the area where the cars come through that wreck and everything. So I'm walking. And I look up on the board because the final lap, there's a huge crash. Reddick gets through it, kind of forces the crash, and he winds up winning the race. Michael Jordan's driver in a white and black car that has the jump man smacked on the front. Michael Jordan is there. They pan to Michael Jordan. I look and I'm like, that's Michael Jordan. I'm walking over to the exit and I go, hey, Mike, congrats on the win. Reach the hand. I go, oh, man, thank you. Shakes my fucking
lying.
hand.
Bro,
drop dead. Funniest shit.
That's like out of a movie.
At Talladega, of all places, me and Michael James Jordan are in
unbelievable.
Talladega, Alabama, amongst fields. There's nothing in Talladega. There's a racetrack and an airport next door, and nothing for a half hour but trailer parks. It's crazy.
That's insane.
So I shook Michael Jordan's hand.
Okay, so
by the way, his hand goes that down like there.
Jesus.
You go for the shake. I mean, his hands are fucking. You ever see the photos of Bomani Jones?
Just in general, yeah.
Yeah, like his hands.
Yeah,
like huge hands. Granted, like I get he played in the NBA, but like, oh my god, compared to mine.
That's wild. So I'm looking at NASCAR's website. Shout out to Brittany.
Also met the Brittany Wilbur this
amazing.
Weekend. We happen to have gotten off our planes in Birmingham, Alabama at the same time.
That's incredible.
She was in a tin can flying down from Philadelphia. I had transferred at Dallas. This weekend was kind of crazy. I had my first Whataburger. I met my intern who's now blowing shit up at NASCAR. Who, by the way,
Interviewed The Rock.
She interviewed The Rock.
She interviewed The Rock for the
Don't
opening
remember
race of NASCAR and did like one of those like quick like social media interviews. You hear Brittany's voice.
I must have
asking
missed
the
that
question.
shit.
I'll send you the video. I was like, made by us.
So, in the matter of 2 race days, I met my former intern who's crushing it at NASCAR. I had my first ever Whataburger. By the way, the beer and the food at Talladega, $4 for a beer. It was $9 for a double shot of whiskey and soda. $2 for a hot dog, $4 for chicken and fries. The most expensive thing I bought, believe it or not, was caramelized cinnamon roasted pecans were like $12 because it was like a local shop. But like $4 for a burger and fries.
That's incredible.
But the die casts were as you would expect, like $80. But yeah,
That's still not terrible.
No, but like still
for like what it is.
But it's funny because like a die cast for $80 and then like the food, like you buy a beer at Wells Fargo and it's like $16.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Meanwhile, I could buy 4 Busch Lights for $16 at Talladega. Me and Kay's cousin, who's the daughter of her uncle, the sponsor, her husband. We were just double fisting Busch Lights the whole time. We had one in the back pocket, one in the hand at all times. Hilarious.
So I'm looking at NASCAR's website just to see their schedule. Number one, if I'm not out of town the weekend of Pocono, we should definitely like divulge and
I'm all in.
Because I'm looking at the Paddock Plus pass thing. It's like $50.
That's it?
That's it.
Does it get you like pit access and stuff?
Let me see. More info. Paddock Pass Plus. So the Sunday only access is $50 and the weekend access is $75. Again, that's incredible.
Well, so just like anything else, also similar to like F1, like they have the truck series, they have the Xfinity, which is the tier below, like F2, and then the F1 equivalent of NASCAR is Sunday. So my Kay's uncle sponsors technically both he's a partner to what's called Trackhouse Racing, which is one of the teams, and they have multiple drivers across the Xfinity and the Cup Series. So I'd be so game with that.
You get access to the paddock.
Okay.
You get, let's see. There's like a whole camping section because people camp out that weekend.
Yeah, same thing at Tally.
There's a whole bunch of stuff with that. If I'm not in Ohio that weekend, potentially, that would be insane. But I'm also looking at this for the future.
Yeah,
there's
actually,
a night race for NASCAR.
Where's this?
Bristol, Tennessee.
That's hype.
Down the line, we should look into that.
So
it's the Bass Pro Shops, no free ads, night race.
I unfortunately just realized that actually Pocono, I have a engagement party then.
Well, it's something to put on the back burner.
I would like honestly now, and I've applied now to a bunch of jobs with NASCAR because I'm like, well, this is like sick. Like I would love to do this. I wonder like, yeah, like you can get a pit pass for $100 to the Brickyard, like the Indy 500. You can get a weekend pit pass for $100. That's like crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we can go to this year? We should go visit DJ, go to Michigan. Michigan International Speedway out in Brooklyn, Michigan. The Firekeepers Casino 400.
Pocono is super close to me. It's only like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then Delaware also looked very close to me, like hour and some change.
We could also always go back to Talladega in October.
That too. When is that?
October 6th. But like That's a playoff race. It's a very probably a lot more expensive.
The Yellowwood 500.
Some of these sponsors are just absolutely nuts.
I mean, I would love to do a partnership with NASCAR
that'd be amazing.
because Barstool has one where they obviously have their NASCAR podcast, but they advertise NASCAR races and everything. I would love to partner with NASCAR.
I would love trying to think where else they race. They race at Richmond. They do. Bristol was on St. Patrick's Day this year. Vegas. They obviously do a bunch of races in Daytona for that opening weekend, which would again be absolutely nuts. Yeah,
they're in Watkins Glen in September.
It's all the way up by the Finger Lakes. It's kind of crazy.
That's also a playoff race.
But we'll certainly make it happen. All right, let's get out of this. Let's get into the sport reference
golf podcast. Golf podcast.
Golf podcast. Golf podcast. Who also know a lot of other things. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in to the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy and Kyle Bennett here taking over for the birthday boy, Ben Pirro. Here are you today after what was an incredible run at the RBC Heritage this past week. Scottie Scheffler, of course, claims another victory. We're going to talk more about how can anybody keep up with this guy? Can anybody beat him at any point this year? And, of course, Nelly Korda as well, tying the most wins in a single season on the LPGA Tour. Before all that, we're coming to you live from the Underground, a part of the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you can get a hold of us, bringing you all the news, analysis, and betting tips from across the golfing world, including yours truly, the PGA, LPGA, Corn Ferry, and Live Golf Tours. By the way, teeing up this weekend in Adelaide, Australia. Probably presented by some of the best sponsors in the biz, including our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the #1 best small batch eyewear company in the biz. Sponsored by some great big-time athletes, Chris Hogan, Kyle Harrison, and golf's very own Paige Sporanic.
And Kyle Harrison and Chris Hogan, not only are they obviously reps of the company, they own the company.
Ruining my ad reads. God
damn it. They
own
it. It's owned by athletes. That's how you know it's elite. You don't see these other big-name companies owning the brands that they rep.
I got a bone to pick with you now because you're blowing up my ad reads.
I'm enhancing your ad read.
I love that. Save it to the end. There's one thing. The one thing that I was so anal about in college was people getting in front of my ad reads, and I was like, "Fuck." Anyways, Tomahawk Shades guaranteed to keep you looking fresh from the first hole to the 18th green and beyond. Head to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app on the App Store, Google Play Store, and browse their selection of sunglasses, blue light plus glasses, and prescription lenses like those on my eyes right now. And be sure to use code USP for 25% off your next order at TomahawkShades.com or Tomahawk Shades app. Again, USP for 25% off your next order.
I just opened the app too. They have a brand new class of sunglasses that are selling out very fast. It's the Brixton class. Go into the app and you can use code BRIX, BRIX, for 50% off your first order.
I'm waiting for the Tomahawk Shades golf drop that they have in the works. Big time tease, big time interested in that one. It's a magical Monday here in the Underground. Once again, I'm your host, Steve McAvoy. Joining me is the ever so gorgeous Kyle Bennett.
You're far too
beautiful, with that beautiful, luscious beard. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter. Kyle, plug that.
Twitter is KBIZZL311, which I just saw Spaceboy is trying to free up some of the dead Twitter handles. So maybe, hopefully, I'll be able to claim and have uniformity across the board. But KBIZZL311 on Twitter, and then Instagram Threads is KBIZZLE11.
And you can find me on Instagram and the machine, formerly known as X, at Real Steve McAvoy, and hopefully Elon,
formerly known as X.
It's always going to be Twitter.
Always. I saw Ben talking about that last week, and it's like, brother, just call Twitter.
Hopefully, and praying to God that that Elon does actually get rid of the the dead accounts, and I can resurrect myself and not have to be the real Steve McAvoy because some fucking like Chinese foot massage group is taking over my shit. Literal last thing that I want to deal with in my entire life. Absolutely ridiculous. So the RBC Heritage this past week was nothing short of, I guess, like what you would expect, maybe. Scottie Scheffler wins his 4th event in five events. It's kind of crazy. The only person standing between Scottie Scheffler and 5 straight wins,
Nelly Corda,
is Steven Yeager, close, who like prior to this year had 1 win in 4 years, and it all came down to a putt of about yay long. And my mom's FaceTiming me.
Let's go!
Why does she always do this?
Let's go! Our podcast sensitive.
She always FaceTimes me on the show. It's
put
like
her
a,
close to the mic. Put her
it's like
close
a
to the
bad
mic.
drug. Hold on.
Everybody in podcast land.
It's like a bad drug.
We got to put that on a shirt.
I miss my son.
We're gonna throw my mom's face on a t-shirt and say, "Hi everyone in
Podcast land. It's elite.
I'm sorry to bother you. I'm trying to figure out how to sell.
Oh God. Just, you don't know how to just get Venmo.
No, someone needs to Zell me, so I don't know how to do it.
I don't know. Do you know how to use Zelle?
I know it's like through banking.
Wait. Do you know how to use Zelle? See, no one has fucking Zelle.
Zell's just an app.
Who's Zelling you?
Oh, somebody.
Who's somebody? This is very sus.
We'll beep it.
Yeah, I'm getting Zelled. So, all right, I got to figure it out. Okay, go
It's
ahead,
just
go
an
ahead.
app. Tell her to download Zell in that app. and
Download
then
the
just listen
Zelle
to
app.
I have it.
All right, this should be easy then.
All right. I love you.
Bye, Ma.
I love you.
We really got to make "Hi everyone in podcast land" shirts.
Every time.
That is like the ultimate Joey Diaz quote from your mom. Podcast land.
By the way, drawing back on top of all shades because I'm just seeing it now. They partnered with the hockey guys. The hockey guys were at Talladega.
Oh, that's sick.
They were at Tally.
Because
I saw I saw their van and it had like a woman's face on it, and it turns out she's one of the Truck Series drivers.
That's
pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, Scottie Scheffler won for the 4th time in 5 events.
He's got a hell of a wardrobe now. Those jackets.
What?
Scotty's got a hell of a wardrobe now. Green jacket, plaid jacket. That boy's gonna be out on the town.
Blue jacket, black jacket. One fit. What is it? 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. It's like
Scotty's gonna be dressing like pretty patties.
The pretty patties. Wow.
Remember the Scottish guy came up and he had the plaid kilt pretty patty?
The pretty patties.
It turned my tongue kilt.
Actually, hold on. Wait. Kay, come here. No, Kay, come on, please. Tell Kyle your story about your nightmare about the wedding.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I'm not appropriately.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna move the mic to my my lovely wife who's off here on the side. She had a nightmare the other day about our wedding, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
So I had a nightmare the other night.
Oh, I think she muted.
I did kind of sort of break it. Hold on, wait. Let's see if I can do this again. And I'll fucking break it. Go ahead.
Okay, did he break it?
No, you don't.
We're good.
I had a dream the other day and I woke up and I turned to Steven. Steven's like, "What's your problem?" And I'm like, "I just had a nightmare that I was walking down the aisle and I looked and he was standing there and my eyes kind of went from like top to bottom. So I saw him wearing like this brown like tweed jacket and I'm like, all right, this is not what we planned, but all right, brown jacket, cool. And then he's wearing light wash jeans and white sneakers.
And then to follow that up, so we're at Talladega, and Kay's uncle approaches me, and there's this like fat guy in a kilt who looks like a leprechaun who's walking around, and he goes, "Okay, you think it's a problem when Steven shows up in the tweed jacket and light wash jeans? Me and all your uncles are gonna wear that." You bring up turning kilts, turning my tongue kilt. Yeah, apparently Kay's 5 uncles are gonna show up to my wedding now in kilts.
That is a deep cut SpongeBob quote.
All pronged by her oldest uncle Larry. What a guy.
The lobster?
No, not well. He most certainly is not a lobster. I can almost guarantee you that. So Scottie won for the 18th time. The question is, like, can anybody beat him? Will anybody beat him? I found a funny stat that that I didn't even like think about. Every single one of Scottie Scheffler's professional victories on the PGA Tour have all come in the months of March and April.
That's wild.
He has never won outside of these 2 months. And part of me is starting to think, is there an opportunity here that Scottie Scheffler becomes... Sorry, actually, I'm lying to you. He won in February. His first career win at the Waste Management was in February. But do we think that there's a way Scottie Scheffler never wins outside of February, March, and April, the first quarter of the year? Sorry, first third of the year. How funny would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take obviously a couple more go rounds of hypothesizing, but we're on to something. Also, shout out to Scheffler Legion for quote tweeting us.
That's. I don't even want to dwell on it because I honestly don't know what the answer is. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Scottie Scheffler. I don't know if anybody's going to again, I don't know. All I know is that based on data golf, Scottie Scheffler on their index is at a +3, and the next closest person is Xander Schauffele at a +2-1.
Is this like their version of like WAR?
Yeah, WAR. It's basically the mixture of accounting for wins, strokes gained statistics, and OWGR stuff. And so their index, actually here, estimate of the quality of each golfer's recent performances relative to the average PGA Tour field. It is in units of strokes gained per round. So Scheffler is at +3, Schauffele is at +2-1, then Ludwig Ober is at 1.8 with Rory McIlroy, and John Rahm's at 1.7. Like he is a full 1.5 higher than Patrick Cantley, Colin Morikawa, and John Rahm as a basis. On top of that, according to the Data Golf all-time rankings, and this is really kind of the true model that I think is probably like the craziest. He is by far the second best player of all time based on his this year performance, only behind Tiger Woods, and it's only getting the number between them is only getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the days go on.
That's crazy.
Which is just absolutely nuts. I'm trying to find the actual listing that they have. Let's see, Data Golf.
I also know he won more money this week betting on Scottie, but I found it very hilarious that Dave Portnoy's bet for Scottie to win the Masters netted him more money than the person who finished third in the Masters.
Which is ridiculous. Here's the basis here, and actually I'll pull up Data Golf for us because they have a really good visual here on what it is. So Tiger Woods back in 2000 and 2001 had the greatest statistical season of all time. He had an average ranking of a 3.8. No one in the history of golf has ever had over a 3. And prior to Scottie Scheffler this year, who now holds a 3, was Vijay Singh, just below that in 2004. That's think insane. Scottie Scheffler is having the best career stretch right now, and is only the second player to ever list a 3 in the rankings. Just goes to show you how dominant he is. Now, Tiger Woods that year, to give you a general idea of how dominant he was, do they only go back to 2004? That's crazy. So let's do this. To give you an idea of Tiger Woods in 2001. Oh my God, can I find anything?
Well, Steve, the internet was just being born then.
He was. You're right. He had 9 top 10s. In 2000. He had 9 wins and 17 top 10s. His scoring average was the lowest in the history of the PGA Tour for a year at a 67. He averaged per round going to an event and shooting 5 under versus the field. Like, that's a ridiculous concept to get behind. He hit 3/4 of his greens, the most ever on the PGA Tour. He hit 72% of his fairways, which ranked only behind his 99 season as the best average. His putting average was the lowest amongst all players over the last 24 years. Tiger Woods was so overly dominant in 2001, that no one, through Jordan Spieth's 3 majors in a year, through John Rahm's 2 majors in a year, through Vijay Singh, David Duval, Rory McIlroy, Phil Mickelson, no one has been able to do what Scottie Scheffler has done, or even try and come close to replicating what Tiger's done.
I was going to ask you, because the first list that you were at, where like Tiger was there, and then Scottie and everything, but everyone after that, it was like late 90s, early 2000s. What do you think it is that it's taken until now with Scottie in 2024 and like almost 2 decades later, where like everyone was like having like at that time, like that was elite, like Vijay Singh at a 2.96. And you know, those numbers there were elite, and you had like stretches there where it was like, you know, a few years gaps there. But now, like, what do you think the difference is that it's taken this long for somebody to kind of get back into that stratosphere?
Well, I'll kind of give you the opposite answer. The whole reason why you saw all these guys in the 90s doing what they did, like again, Duval's 4th from 99, Singh 2004 is 3rd, Furyk in 06 is ranked 10th, Mickelson is 14th in 2000. Those guys, there was 2 kind of like exoduses in golf, if you remember, over the last 30 years, and it was in the 90s when, and we talk about like parity a lot. The parity and the number of guys who would win at any given week was like 5 or 6. It was Ernie Els, it was David Duval, it was Tiger Woods, there was Phil Mickelson, and there was a few others here and there. Jim Furyk being one of them. Steve Stricker also kind of fit in there. Same thing happened kind of in the mid 2000s, where in like 2015, 2014, we had an exodus of guys between Henrik Stenson, Luke Donald, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, and a few others here and there. Maybe even like Justin Rose, I would say, Ricky Fowler, Hideki Matsuyama. When all these guys came up around the same time and were all just overtly dominant over everybody else. And those were all the guys who were winning. And when you look at the Data Golf ranking, you see like, you find Spieth's 2015 year when he won 3 majors at 7th. Jason Day behind him at 8th. You see Dustin Johnson in 2018, Stenson in 2016, Luke Donald in 2011, Justin Rose in 2018, and like Sergio in 14, Ricky in 17, Matsuyama in 17, Scott in 14, Lee Westwood in 2012. Those were all incredibly dominant years, and that was when those 10 or so players were the absolute best at their craft. Now the list could be like 40 guys. There's 40 guys on any given week who can win an event. We saw for the first 7 weeks of the year that no one with better than plus 3,000 odds won an event. Like, that's middle of the pack, if anything. So that's kind of the opposite answer of what you're asking. Why did it take this long to have someone else do this? I mean, technically, John Rahm in 2023 ranked 6th on the list. Rory ranks 9th on the list, also in 2023. That was also the year that Rory won the FedEx Cup. So, like, that's a part of the factor in there. He won a playoff event. He won twice that year. Rahm won the Masters that year. He won 4 times that year, and it also includes his 4 DP World Tour wins. So, like, but again, certain fields matter more. It's the combo of the signature event, the fact that he's just head and shoulders better than everyone in every facet of the game, and up until Bay Hill, the putter was the only question mark that he had. And now all of a sudden, you change from a blade to a mallet, and all of a sudden it's like you're top of the world. His strokes gained total numbers over the last 6 weeks. You can even go back to the beginning of the year. He's only had one event where he's had less than 2 strokes gained total. And if you look back to when he started his run, 5 strokes gained, 4.8, 2.6, 5.2, 3.9, just dominating numbers across the board. And at some of the hardest golf courses that you could play at. So I think with all of those things in mind, particularly his 4 wins and where he got them, Arnold Palmer, signature event, the Players, signature event, the Masters, signature event, plus some, the Heritage, signature event. We're going to keep on seeing this. And that's why his numbers are so good at where they are. And again, you can even look at his data numbers. His accuracy is elite. His putting is above average. His play on approach and around the greens are number 1 on tour out of anybody over the last 10 years. Like Scottie Scheffler just has this overall ability to him that's just better than everybody else. And that's why he is where he is. Will he hit Tiger's number? No, because Tiger won, I think, 9 times on the year. And I just
Scottie's at what, 4?
He has 4. I don't know if he could easily do it, but part of me believes the narratives, and if he hasn't won past the month of April, but again, he wins in bunches, as we had said umpteen times. Said it last week, said it 3 weeks ago, said it a couple months ago. When he wins in bunches, he keeps on winning. I think the question actually better is who's going to dethrone him for an event. And is he going to actually dethrone him, or is it going to be a matter of Steven Yeager, who won because of a lipped out putt? Scottie has to beat himself to lose, which it feels like. Someone who doesn't have to beat herself because she just fucking wins everywhere. Nelly Korda, her 5 straight wins, ties the record for the most wins in a single LPGA season, tying Annika Sorenstam back in 2004 and Nancy Lopez in 1978. She just, and this again, this isn't even a Scottie thing. Nelly Korda just dominated every single event she went to. Beat and crushed every single person. She's amazing. She's our age,
which is nuts.
I mean, then again, so is Scottie. I think Scottie's 27, and Nelly's
no shot.
Nelly's 25.
Scottie's 27.
Yeah.
What the?
I'm actually older than Nelly Korda too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Scottie Scheffler is...
What am I doing with my life?
He's 27 years old.
Dude, he looks older than me.
He's 27 years old. He has a baby on the way.
He looks older than me. He's also from New Jersey.
Yes.
Don't forget that, everybody.
Yeah, but deep down, he's a Texas boy.
Nah, he's a Ridgewood, New Jersey guy through and through.
If you look at Scottie Scheffler's Wikipedia page, the photo of him makes him look like he's from the 40s. It's like a hazy, dusty photo.
It looks like a humanization of a Pixar character.
So I can see it. By the way, at Talladega, I'm sitting up in the pit booth. I have the headphones on, listening to the crew chief, and I'm like, oh, I feel like Doc Hudson. I had my Doc Hudson moment, and the whole weekend, Kay's little cousin, he's 2 years old, loved the loud cars and like the helicopter flyovers, and I'm like, oh, look at those fancy helicopters. Is Larry the Cable Guy really an actor?
Voice actor.
The Nelly point though brings up something that I really want to incorporate, and I will die on the hill, and I'm the PGA Tour and CBS and all these companies that are involved, Capital One, would be so stupid to not do a Scottie versus Nelly match.
That would be fun.
That's what you want to see. 9 holes.
Steph Curry versus was it Sabrina Ionescu for the 3-point contest at the All-Star game?
Yes.
It would be something like that. That would be cool.
But the match, I've hated every single one of them for the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's gotten very stale very fast.
It's very stale. This is what you want. I would actually watch these two go at it for 12 to 15 holes. Go to the win like you always do. Go to Vegas under the lights or at dusk. Play 18 holes. That would be amazing. You play from your tee boxes. You tell me who the best golfer is, And again, co-sponsor it, PGA, LPGA sponsored.
Brings more
Literally-
fans into the fold.
It's literally the equivalent of what was it? Was it McEnroe who played? What was the boys versus girls tennis match that they had?
Oh,
And the girl won. Who was that? I don't know why I keep thinking Misty May Trainer. She plays volleyball. That's fucking dumb. You're gonna say the name and it's gonna kill me.
it was Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King. Thank you. Yeah, like that's what we need. Now, granted, that was also like that was iconic because it was the final proofing that like women could perform at sports as well as men can. This is just legitimately who's the best golfer. I don't think like you can compare all you want like women's sports and basketball to the NBA or softball to baseball, whatever it is. Golf is golf. I understand they play on shorter golf courses, and the stats thing is where it gets a little weird. Like, oh, LPGA player has the most accurate driver on tour. Yeah, it's because she hits the ball 100 yards less than the guy, and she needs more accuracy to win. That's obvious. But like raw talent on a golf course, like if a guy played a girl in basketball, it's unfair. If a guy played a girl in golf from their respective tee boxes and played their game, I don't see what's unfair with that.
And I mean, to put it in perspective too, to go back to the tennis match, in 1973 is when that happened.
Yeah.
An estimated 50 million people in the United States and 90 million worldwide watched it. Like, take that and curate it to what that would translate to in today's numbers, where televisions are way more accessible. You have a way better primetime slot. People would be around to watch it. You would like, that's crazy numbers to think about, and it would be so entertaining. And on top of that, speaking of Nelly, because I know she is always retweeting Nelly onto my timeline, we got to get Kelsey Trainer on this podcast.
100%.
She's like direct correspondent to Rob McElhaney, and she was on Blue Bloods, and she's a big golf like aficionado. Like, she plays golf, like she's very into golf. She's awesome. We got to get her on here.
Might I also add? So you said what was the number on that tennis match?
50 million US and 90 million worldwide.
Was that television viewership or was that like what? Like
that was estimated TV viewership.
All right. Across TNT, True TV, and HLN for the match, this latest one, which was Rory, Homa, Leslie Thompson, and Rose Zhang, 511,000.
Wow.
782,000 in June 2023 was Mahomes, Kelsey, and Clay and stuff. You're telling me that at a tennis match in the 70s can do over 100 times better than this? And now we're talking about we're looking at the number one golfer in the world since Tiger Woods, the number one women's golfer in the world since Annika Sorenstam, who recently retired. That's an iconic matchup, and if they keep on winning, we have potential for one of the best views ever. The second edition of the match, Tiger, Phil, Brady, and Peyton, which by the way was very good, peaked at 6.3 million followers, 6.3 million viewers. Now, that was in May of 2020. That was during COVID, so it makes sense because no one else is doing anything, but sitting on their asses watching this thing. Otherwise, record lows across the board for all these events. I want to see a Scottie versus Nelly match.
Yeah, the match needs a big time reconfiguring because just trying to placate it and market it off of names alone, is not getting it done.
I agree.
Like, we obviously did the live stream for it. The Full Swing and Drive to Survive
the
thing was way more entertaining.
It was. And was it gimmicky?
And did it have gimmicks? Yes, but I would 100% sign up to watch another iteration of that.
Yeah.
Than what they've been doing with the match.
But you know what? What I'll also say to this, and this is a bigger picture, right? We complained on the show about Lexi Thompson getting a sponsor exemption to play in the Shriners. This was back in like October. And like we had no problem complaining about it because really she's taking away a spot from somebody who actually deserves it and needs points to qualify for the PGA Tour and everything during the Fall Swing. Yeah, they had Lexi Thompson on for the match later on, and they have the Grant Thornton Invitational where you have a male and female golfer team up. They got rid of the Dell match play during March Madness. I want them to bring that back, but do a LPGA PGA tournament style and fill out a bracket of 64 golfers, 32 men, 32 women, the top players in the world, and have them go at it. Play from your tee boxes. And I'm telling you right now, you will see more women succeed than you think. And that's the way you grow. That's the way you grow women's golf
and golf in general.
Yeah. Well, I think golf in general, I think it's already hitting all-time highs every single year. Viewership is really where it needs to shine, and getting women in the mix only broadens out your scope. But you can't do it on a PGA Tour week because Lexi Thompson missed the cut. You only get 2 days of that. You can get 4 full days of full-on coverage, men versus women, constantly going at it. And then, of course, you'll have brackets where a guy plays a guy and a girl plays a girl. You're not going to separate them. Fully integrate them. You can even have, like, the first match could be a guy versus a guy and a girl versus a girl. And then the meter of that will be a guy versus a girl. Like, don't make it, like, biased. Don't make it so that there are more women in the field or more men. Like, make it equitable. But make it fair, because at the end of the day, golf is golf, and the best players win, whether or not you are a man or a woman. I think that's going to be the ultimate way to get the game of golf more grown. Speaking of realizing that people who are younger than us are more successful than we are, Miles Russell, do you know who he is?
15-year-old stud.
Kid looks like
an infant.
A literal infant. 15 years old. Monday qualifies for the Corn Ferry Tour event this past week. Shoots a 6 under, or 5 under 66 to make top 20 and qualify for the following week event. And he has a sponsor exemption into the Bermuda Butterfield Championship in November. PGA Tour event, 15 years old. You never see that. Possibly the future of USA golf, and I'm not talking like soon future, because we already know we have Scottie and Colin and Cameron Young and all that. I'm talking like 10 years from now. 25-year-old Miles Russell. We actually brought up Miles Russell on this show the week of the PNC, because I said that people got to slow their roll on saying that Tiger Woods' kid Charlie is the future, and I specifically said Miles Russell is the guy. And here we are.
Does Miles Russell have 2 first names or 2 last names? Leave a comment in the YouTube comment section.
It's 2 first names.
I think there's a healthy debate for both. I want to see what the people think.
The only Miles last name that I know is Les Miles.
I'll do some research.
Famous people with the last name Miles. Vera Miles, CJ Miles, all right, the basketball player. Aaron Miles, the baseball player. Yeah, there are more Miles first names like Miles Davis, Miles Ritchie, Miles Austin. Vera Miles was born in 1929, so I don't know who the hell she is. Yeah, like Les Miles is the 10th most famous Miles last name. Now, Russell, very different story. But for me, it's 2 first names.
Let us know. YouTube comment section. Also, let us know, since we were talking about NASCAR at the top of the show, would the characters in the Cars universe, so Lightning McQueen, Tow Mater,
the answer is life insurance.
Do they have life insurance or do they have car insurance? You decide.
The answer is life insurance.
It's my favorite question.
I want to know, and this could also be a streamer season topic. So Kay, as the big Disney fan she is, informed me that every movie in the Pixar universe is connected.
Mm-hmm. The PIXAR Theory is fascinating.
How does Cars fit into this, considering that we're talking about like there are humans in all of these shows? I believe the whole thing with the Cars universe is that Cars comes into play after the events of WALL-E. So like all the humans like go off somewhere else. But then like who was like the first car? The first car to have human composition.
I'm gonna pull up the PIXAR theory. Because if you don't know the PIXAR theory, you're missing out on
So
big time
according
brain blasts.
So according to IGN, Cars takes place 100 years from now, where there are no humans left on Earth, but the influence of the planet remains, however polluted it may be. The PIXAR theory states that machines, cars included, won the war against humans,
Yep.
which sent. Kay
So
has
I'm on-
informed me that- Kay has informed me that after this, we're watching the PIXAR theory at home.
I'm on PIXARtheory.com. So Cars takes place from 2100 to 2200. And when animals rose up against the humans to stop the pollution, the machines saved the humans and they won the war. However, since machines helped humans win, it tipped the balance on Earth. Machine/BNL had to send the remaining humans off into space on a ship called Axiom. All of the other machines were left behind to populate the world and run things. But how do we know Cars took over Earth and not another planet? Well, Steve, we go to Cars 2. In Cars 2, cars go to Europe and Japan, which show that this is the same planet as all the other Pixar movies. It also shows that there are no humans throughout the world, and the world at this time ends up with an energy crisis as oil is the only energy used for cars. Alanol Corporation was using green energy as a catalyst for fuel war in order to turn cars away from alternative energy sources. That clean fuel could have been used to swiftly wipe out, decommission many of the cars. Alanol was run by BNL, which eventually polluted the whole Earth due to the use of oil. The whole world becomes unfit to sustain life, and then that's when WALL-E comes in.
So what's BNL?
BNL is
What is it? By and large. How do we know who they are?
they are one of
Being
the
WALL-E.
yeah, and there's a logo of BNL on one of the racetracks in one of the Cars movies.
But how did cars become sentient?
Explains the whole thing. So you can continue arguing about it before.
I'm not arguing about it. I'm genuinely curious. I'm getting shit on by Kay right now about the PIXAR theory. Ben hates it when we talk about like things
I
that are in
love it.
golf.
And it's his
And this is
birthday
like-
episode. It's fantastic.
Happy birthday
Birthday
to
to
Ben.
you.
I still haven't wished him happy birthday. I'm waiting till 11:59 tonight to do it, just to piss him off.
That's incredible.
All right, short break. On the other side, previewing of the Zurich Classic, and hopefully without some copyright issues, we can have some fun with some music. Don't go anywhere, folks. Steve-O and KB here from the underground. Don't go anywhere.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Freaking Ben. Pain in my ass. Welcome back to Get in the Hole. Steve-O and KB. Brought to you by our good friends over at Acorn Hills. Shout out to them. Recently just purchased a polo from them. So excited for that to come in the mail.
They just launched the Acorn Hills TV Instagram page, which I think is a really cool concept.
Yes, very cool. We're going to definitely get some fun content up on that soon. But Acorn Hills is bringing you stylish apparel for on and off the golf course, all using biodegradable packaging and plantable clothing tags. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get some beautiful azaleas like you saw at Augusta a couple weeks ago. Acorn Hills is changing clothing through conservation, and use code GITH15 for 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. And look your best from the ground up. like two really good taglines.
Mm-hmm.
Changing clothes through conservation. We love good alliteration. And feeling your best from the ground up like a tree. The
It's the
roots of the
best.
tree. See, if you didn't know that, now you know it. And if you don't know,
No, now you know.
Now, Rory McIlroy is rejoining the policy board for the PGA Tour. Why? Who knows? In a recent statement by Rory McIlroy, he had mentioned that he was missing the opportunity to make impactful change on the policy board, as well as we still know that that he has a vested interest in the PGA Tour and wants it to be the best that it is. Didn't make any total note on this. Here he said at the Valero Test Open this month, I know this isn't a be all end all, but if you look at TV ratings of the PGA Tour this year, they're on 20% across the board. That's a fifth. That's big. Very good math, Rory. I would say the numbers on LIV aren't great either in terms of people tuning in. I just think with the fighting and everything that went on over the past couple of years, people are just getting really, really fatigued, and it is turning people off of men's professional golf, and that's not a good thing for anyone. So I can only assume that he's joining not only to continue to fight against LIV, but also trying to make the PGA Tour better, and then on top of that, try and grow the ratings. He said at the Players back in March, I said this before, I've spent time with Yasir Al-Rumayyan, the head of LIVGolf. People that have represented him in LIV, I think, have done a disservice. So, aka Greg Norman and those guys. I see two entities, and I think there's a really big disconnect between PIF and LIV. I think you have PIF over here and LIV sort of over here doing their own thing. So the closer that we can get Yasir, PIF, and hopefully finalize that investment, I think that'll be a really good thing. Rory is teeing it up this week with Shane Lowry, his fellow kind of sort of countryman. He's from Northern Ireland, Shane's from the Republic of Ireland. Shout out to the Republic because the Northerners left us. But yeah, what do you think of Rory rejoining the policy board?
Yeah, I saw this and I laughed at the pictures of like old Rory, and by old I mean like pictures from like 10 years ago of Rory being used as like the thumbnails for him rejoining, and he looks like a completely different person. Like he looked like a side character from The Social Network.
Great movie, by the way.
One of my top 10 favorite movies. I don't know. It's weird. Like Rory feels like he's just like pinballing himself. You know, we have the story that you guys rightfully broke over a month ago about him talking with LIV and everything, and then it gets reported by the biggest fucking news publication in London. And now we have this where he's rejoining the policy board. And it's like, oh, it's PGA Tour or die. Like, I don't know. He's Rory McIlroy is like the biggest like seesaw flip flopper, in my opinion. Like he makes up his mind one day and then flips on that made up decision the following week. Like you truly don't know what you're gonna get from Rory. Like he's like Two-Face from Batman.
Yeah, I think the whole thing with Rory is that I think he's trying to. I don't know if he's made too much of a clown of himself. Because like I know that he's made comments, and it's hard to not make comments when you are in the position that you are in, and I fully support people using their platform, but for the most part, his platform has not really been very strong and hasn't been consistent, which is kind of the problem. And rejoining the policy board, I know Webb Simpson is on until 2025. Maybe he hasn't seen improvement. He quit because he had too much going on, apparently, and part of that was TGL, but now that's pushed back to January. I guess he's found more.
Or was it because he was negotiating with LIV?
Possibly that too. Like, there's a lot of different things that could be going on here, and
allegedly.
But Rory has said that he is going to be on the PGA Tour for the rest of his career. I'm going to hold him to that. I know that we have had some flip-flopping in terms of what people say, but I don't think Rory's one to lie when it comes to that. He's pretty adamant in his words, and he has conviction, which I give him a lot of credit for. So I think Rory is kind of doubling down on his commitment to the PGA Tour, and also wants to bring on some more hype around men's golf and try and work out with the investment.
I also think it's one of those things where like Rory's on the Boston team for the TGL. Like something tells me like him and John Henry have talked a lot.
And John Henry being one of the big
Right.
investment groups with SGG. So yeah, like it makes sense. There's definitely a lot of involvement probably from them too, because at the end of the day, they want their investment protected. And why would this private investment group of all these guys invest money into a league that's losing viewership every week, a fifth of viewership year over year? It's not a good look, not a good vibe either. So definitely something has to change. I just don't know how much of an impact Rory's going to be able to have in a short amount of time when we're kind of in too deep on tour this year. It seems like we have too much that's already happened for us to try and be like, all right, hey, how can we make up a fifth of our viewership if we've been losing it for the last 7 weeks?
Yeah, it feels like something that should have been taken care of in like October.
Yeah, with the exception, of course, of the Masters that had really good ratings. Everything else is down. So, and honestly, this week is going to be no exception. I think this is going to be one of the worst weeks because it isn't. It's not even a signature event. You're going to have middle of the pack guys and cool team style event, but I don't really know if it's going to be the vibe that everyone's looking for.
Before we preview that, can we quickly hit on, speaking of TGL, can we just talk about the Jupiter Links roster being announced?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, love this.
You and I were texting about it. Number one, I think the TGL is doing a phenomenal job with logos.
They are.
They're all great so far from the ones I've seen. How many teams again is it supposed to be?
There's going to be, I believe, 6 teams.
Okay, and we've seen what, 3?
We've seen 5.
5. Okay, so I have to do some research on 2 because I saw Boston, Jupiter Links, obviously.
So we have, what is it? We have Boston Common Golf. We have Jupiter Links. We have the Atlanta Drive, which is JT's team. And then we've gotten logos for New York Golf Club and I believe LA Golf Club, but there's no name officially for the LA team. I know New York team is literally New York Golf Club. Los Angeles, I don't know what they have in store yet. And then we have the San Francisco team that has no news on it yet.
Yeah, I just clicked on the San Francisco team. The only news that I can give you is some of the ownership is Mark Lassery's Avenue Sports Fund, along with the involvement of Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, and the only thing that I believe we kind of know based on process of elimination is the people who are playing in the TGL who don't have a team are likely going to be on this San Francisco squad, which, if based on my lookings appear to be correct, that team should be... Actually, I don't know because they haven't done a good job with colors on this. So I can't actually tell you. I don't totally know.
So, and remind me, TGL is supposed to take place during what time of the year?
It's going to launch the Monday after the national championship in January.
For college football?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it would be kind of cool if San Francisco was just like, yeah, Steph Curry's on our team.
Wow. That actually would be kind of ridiculous.
But Jupiter Links announced their roster, and that's Tiger Woods' squad. And it's Tiger Woods, Kevin Kisner, Max Homa, Tom Kim. And I was like, pretty solid squad. You were like, Tiger, later stages of his career, obviously. And Kevin Kisner, doesn't move the needle. But then I was like, Tiger and Kevin, wired Max Homa with Tom Kim.
Yeah, that is a pretty
and I also think like
group.
For what this is, it'll help not necessarily like improve, but like I think it'll be more suited for where Tiger is in his career right now.
I can see that. Makes sense. So hold on, I'm currently doing some deduction as well for these teams. So LA is Colin, we have Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, and Sahith Theegala. We have our New York club, which is, or let's see if I can know these off the top of my head. It's Cameron Young, it's Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, and Ricky Fowler. My new hometown team.
Cameron Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander, and Ricky. Yes.
Amazing. I'm on fire. Atlanta is JT. It's Lucas Glover, Patrick Cantlay, and who else on Atlanta? Billy Ho.
Billy Horschel, Patrick Cantlay, Lucas Glover, and JT. Yes.
By the way, Billy Ho, congratulations to you on winning the Punta Cana Corrales Championship. The Boston team actually only has 3 players now because they had Tyrrell Hatton. So now he's gone. It's Rory, Keegan, and Adam Scott, which leaves the Jupiter team is Tiger, Kiz, Homa, and Kim. So that means that the remaining players who are without a roster spot right now are Shane Lowry, Minwoo Lee, Wyndham Clark, and that's it. Which means that there are 2 roster spots available. One for Boston and one for San Francisco whenever it rolls around.
Because who's on San Francisco again?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
But the only 3 people who are in TGL and committed that do not have a team are Shane Lowry, Minwoo Lee, and Wyndham Clark, which makes sense to put them all on a team. In which case there are 2 open spots. Who it goes to? Well, Scottie Scheffler doesn't have a team yet, nor is he committed to TGL.
That would be fun.
Would be a
It would also be fun.
It
would be also fun if they could get Nelly Corda.
True. Bring on some girls. Bring on like Lydia Ko. You could bring on Brooke Henderson. Ludwig Oberg would be a really cool pick.
Yes.
To get on.
I also think it would be electric if they just hit the stone cold glass shatter for San Francisco and Steph Curry walked out. Because if you don't know and you're listening to this podcast, because some people may not pay attention to the NBA like that, Steph Curry is a phenomenal golfer.
Question is though, who would tee it up for the Boston team then? What crazy would you have 2 non-golfers play?
If I'm not mistaken, Tatum's a very good golfer too.
He is a good golfer. He is,
which would be interesting because TGL. That's a Monday that they're playing.
Mondays.
So it'd obviously be interesting if that were to happen because obviously it's in the heart of the NBA season.
Yeah, but if Steph Curry plays on TGL, the NBA schedule is largely Tuesdays and Thursdays
and Fridays for TNT purposes.
Exactly. So hold on. I wonder if have they dropped the 2025 schedules?
Let's see. Because that would be fascinating. And I mean, Steph can play forever just because of the style of basketball he plays, but Steph Curry's 35.
There's no schedule out for that. Again, with the people who you could bring on, Victor Hovland isn't committed, Scottie isn't committed, Ludwig isn't committed. Trying to find someone. Hideki could possibly work.
That'd be cool.
Brian Harmon.
Hideki in San Francisco would be very cool because of the
Asian
demographic in San Francisco.
Would actually be a really cool ad. Akshay Bhatia is a Californian.
That'd be fun.
Bring on some fresh blood. But he's from LA. He's not from the Bay. So it wouldn't totally work. But yeah, there's a lot of different opportunities. The one thing that I can tell you definitively is that Taylor Gooch will not be on the team.
Yeah, because you think he can go back to live the week
after.
All
right, hold on. I have another bone to pick quickly with the New York Golf Club. The bird on the New York Golf Club logo, it easily looks like a pigeon, right?
Yes.
It turns out that it is not a pigeon.
Oh, I just read that. It's the eastern bluebird.
Like, I don't like fuck that. It's a pigeon. That should be a pigeon. It's New York City.
It's a good logo though, nonetheless.
It's a
Like
very cool
whoever
logo,
has been
and
in charge of like their branding, like kudos to them.
I will definitively be buying New York Golf Club gear, and I will have no shame in that.
Bring me a Philly team and I'm in.
Well, you know what, too? Like, honestly, like, depending on how this go, I also love every player who plays for New York, which which totally makes sense. And like, but if I had to pick a second team that I'd be like really interested in, probably Boston. But because like Keegan's the one New Englander, Rory's a really good athlete. I think Adam Scott's compelling. The LA team though is sick. Between Colin, Fleetwood, Rose, and Thagala. Honestly, they should have put Mass Homa on this team.
Yeah.
Like they should have had like one guy who was like local to every market. Like Cam Young's from New York. Lucas Glover is from Georgia. Thagala is from California, so like he works out in LA. So does Morikawa. But like similar to how like Liv has a full Spanish team or a full South American team. Imagine having 4 guys all from LA on the roster. Be sick.
Fun.
Be nuts.
The branding's awesome, and I just hate that Boston has like the coolest logo. That frog is so sick.
The frog is dope.
Like they have a tweet with like the golfers on it from like about a week ago that is on their page, and it's Frog Watch. Like that's just such good branding. Like kudos to the TGL.
I gotta get myself on the job boards for the TGL.
Are they gonna have like spectators for this?
Yeah,
I would 100% go.
That is the plan. We're gonna make it happen.
Let's ride. I'm in on the TGL. I am in. I know Ben's skeptical because he doesn't like the team stuff. Count me in. I'm in on the TGL.
I'm pro teams.
I'm pro TGL.
I want teams, and I want more PIXAR Theory. We're just gonna scrap the Zurich Classic bit because honestly, we're kind of running out of time. However, we're gonna end up doing this probably for TikTok. So, content piece coming out on TikTok that me and KB are gonna shoot. In honor
I'll give
of
a
Zurich
spoiler.
Classic,
I'll give a spoiler. The Corey Connors Penrith team, they got to walk up to an Arkell song.
Are they Canadian?
Biggest Canadian like pop rock band. Obviously, they do the music for our podcast, so I'm a little biased, but like they are huge in Canada. And Steve, when I say huge, I mean when they come to the States, they play like small like club type scenes like the TLA in Philly, Underground Arts, like small places that you can get in, and it's very fun to go watch them perform. They're unbelievable. But when they play in Canada, they sell out the Scotiabank Center.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like they performed at halftime of the Grey Cup.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane, like the parallels that they have in Canada versus here.
I would personally go with a Justin Bieber song, particularly One Less Lonely Girl. And they should like find a woman in the crowd to like give like a rose to as they walk out.
Or they can just claim allegiances in the ongoing rap beef and come out to Drake.
Fuck Drake. Drake's wrong. Free thug.
Well, I'm talking about the Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake, now involving Rick Ross. Somehow Kanye is in the mix. Like, I live for the rap beef.
My work group chat has been going off, and we're all like claiming our allegiances based on who we like, and we now refer to ourselves as like OVO this and Dreamville that. I am Dreamville Steve. I'm pro J. Cole. I'm also pro Kendrick Lamar, so it's a little bit awkward.
I'm a big Kendrick guy. I think what J. Cole did by apologizing, like I get like you wanted to be good on your mentals, very bad optics.
But also like I give him credit because J. Cole isn't like
I love both of them.
I was saying this like at work. I was like the rap beef is so different because in the 90s, if you talk shit like Suge Knight, he was gonna fucking kill you. Or Tupac was gonna pop you. Now Drake's just spewing shit. No one's gonna do anything.
But
Everyone's
what's
a
good
bitch.
about this rap beef, Steve, is that it's going to be ongoing. It's going to go back and forth. And we as consumers are going to benefit from it because we're going to get fucking incredible rap music again.
True.
We're going to get elite Kendrick, elite J. Cole, elite Drake. We're going to get some Ricky Rose. We're going to get Future. Everyone's going to drop insane albums. And we're going to feast and have rap be what it was in the early 2010s.
You know, it's a shame. They're going to make a Toy Story 5.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. And Toy Story is my second favorite movie of all time.
Case first.
I love Toy Story.
Let's get into some beer money. Brought to you by our friends at Kenwood Beer. While you might not be able to go and watch the Philadelphia Flyers in the playoffs this year, you could go and watch the 76ers get swept by the New York Knicks this playoff season.
Fuck the refs.
Get the fuck out of here. You don't be a whining, complaining little bitch.
Go read the 2-minute report. That's all I gotta say.
Let's go next. Or as they say on Side Talk, go New York, go New York, go! Kenwood Beer. Who is Kenny? He's smooth, he's clean, he's bright, with a taste to boot. Kenny is the routine choice of folks who want a balanced, flavorful, and no-frills beer better than Dante DiVincenzo in the clutch. Only 120 calories, 8 grams of carbs. Some call it the best light beer they've ever had. We just say you can't beat the original, and it's way better than the Busch Light I was drinking Talladega. Head to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Tracker to find where you can get your hands on some ice-cold, refreshing Kenny's from your favorite liquor stores in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, as well as at the Wells Fargo Center to, again, watch the Sixers get dominated by Jalen Brunson, JB11, and the Knicks and beyond. Must be 21 years or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And for those of you gambling, gamble responsibly. We start with the top 20.
Get that Kenwood Golf League t-shirt at kenwoodbeer.com, too.
Hell yeah, brother.
Fire.
Hell yeah. We start with the top 20 pick at the Zurich Classic of New Orleans. Who are you taking? Again, talking teams. This is where it gets fun.
I am going to ride with, for top 20, give me... It's a little bit of a longer shot. It's plus 180. Give me Thorbjorn Olesen and Matt Wallace.
It's a great name. Torbjorn. So you have Olesen and Wallace.
At
Let me
plus
pull up
180.
the board quick. I want to make sure that my picks aren't going to be disgustingly bad. As I pull it up, can you give me the number on Tom Hoagie and Matt McNeely?
Yes. Minus 115.
It's not as good as I want it to be. How about Damon and Mitchell?
Damon and Mitchell. Plus 110.
Book it. Joel Damon and Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell was actually in the recent GQ shoot. I don't know if you saw his photos. Really good stuff out of Keith Mitchell. One of the more stylish guys on tour that does not get nearly enough credit for how good he actually looks on the week in and week out. Top 10.
I am pulling up Keith Mitchell's GQ. But top 10. Give me the Hogue yards. Rasmus and Nikolai. Plus 225.
Better than Hoagie, but it's the Hogue yards.
The Hogue yards.
I'm going to ride with. Ooh, this is a fun one. I might go for one that's like very much out of left field. I'm really upset because originally it was Wyndham Clark and Bo Hostler, but now it's Bo Hostler and Sam Ryder, which is basically like the Ben Pirro of all Ben Pirro teams. I think every fucking week he's picked either one of Bo Hostler or Sam Ryder, so I'm not going to pick them. But that's a hilarious play on someone who just loves to pick those guys. I'm gonna kind of be stuck going a little bit high on the board. I'm gonna go with Bryce Garnett and Sepp Straka. little gutsy, but Garnett had a win earlier this year. Sepp Straka's been on absolute fire as of late as well. So I like that for my top 10. Top 5.
I just have to laugh at this one team. It's Chris Gotterup and Austin Eckroat. That is the horniest team in the Zurich Classic.
Yes,
That's
sir.
absurd. Top 5.
It's so bad.
It's so bad, but so good. Give me my Canadian boys, Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith, plus 550.
Ooh, the Canadians for a top 5. I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna go similar. Actually, ooh. A battle of top 5s. I'm gonna take the other Canadians, Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin. It's an all-Canadian top 5 for the Getting the Whole podcast this week. Fire all over the place at plus 500, a little bit better than the 550 that you've got. Your gimme pick this week.
Gimme pick will be Shane Lowry, Rory, top 10 at minus 125.
Lowry and Rory T10. I'm going to go to the well on who I picked earlier, but didn't take in top 20. I'm going to go with Tommy Hoagie and Mav McNeely for top 20 at that minus 115. It's a really good number to get some solid money out at. Your winner of the Zurich Classic.
I am going to go with Kurt Kitayama and Colin Morikawa at plus 1100.
California love right there.
I like it a lot. It's fun odds for two very good golfers. It's your first odds that are in the 4-digit range. And I think, I think they can do it.
I am. Where is it on here? Does it exist? I gotta find. Oh, is she not playing this week? That's crazy. Wow, that sucks because I had a great parlay that I was gonna prop up. So I don't know if you remember this. So KB, we mentioned this pre-show. You did this show with me last year. I believe you did it with me 2 years ago. So I think this is going to be our traditional show that you and I do as brothers. I got this pick right 2 years ago, and it was a home run, and they were gaining more strokes on the field. I know you're Googling it. Don't Google it.
No, I'm looking to see if I did it 2 years ago. It was you and John 2 years ago in 2022, but I did do it with you last year.
So in 2022, I told Johnny this. There were two guys who were leading everybody in strokes gained on the field, way more than anybody else in the field. And with the exception of Zalatoris and Thagala this week, also two California boys, this duo has not only won here, but has dominated here in the past. I'm going to go with the odds leaders at plus 400 because Scottie Scheffler has been the odds leader for the last 4 weeks. He's won every week. It makes sense. Xander and Cantlay, they're gaining on average 15 strokes more on the entirety of the field going into this week. Similar number to what they did in 2022. I love the odds board leaders, odds-on leaders, Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, claiming their second Zurich Classic together as they come out to House of the Rising Sun by the Animals.
You can also get them at plus money for a top 5 finish. So if you're still not sure if they're going to win, you can still get them plus 105 for a top 5.
And honestly, like that's a home run too. Like you can't go wrong with that pick. Either it's two strong plays. Another episode in the books, KB. A long episode at that, but a lot of great stuff. I'm gonna actually go and watch the PIXAR Theory now.
You're going to love it, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it.
I'm just trying to figure out like the correlation, like as we get to like Cars comes before Wally though. Kay goes, just watch the fucking thing.
And for everyone at home, it spans from the 14th to the 15th century all the way to the year 5000.
14th and 15th. No, it's well past the 14th century.
Where it starts for PIXARtheory.com. But
Well,
there's
no,
more
but-
that has been added into the mix.
Oh,
Like
Technically-
timeline wise,
yeah,
like eras.
yeah, because like the Good Dinosaur obviously
Yes,
exists.
that starts everything.
Yeah. What's the worst Pixar film?
Might be the one you just said, even though I think The Good Dinosaur is a nice little lighthearted feel-good story.
It is. I think Brave is the worst princess movie by a long shot. Sorry, Merida. I think Cars 2 is the worst film ever created because all of a sudden Mater is like a rocket ship. And what else is really bad amongst the Pixar films? There aren't a lot of bad ones, honestly. There are
Cars
some really
2, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is the worst.
Yeah, Cars 2 is abysmal.
Your bottom 5 is Cars 2, Cars 3, the Lightyear movie, Elemental, and Cars 1.
Elemental was a great film. That was a great movie.
They don't have terrible review. Like Cars 2 is the only one that's rotten. Everything else is like
Cars 3
69%
also
above.
was pretty good. Cars 3 was good. Elemental was really good. I didn't like the movie was it Turning Red? Didn't like it. Oh, sorry.
She got you there.
Yeah, right. Jeez, I'm getting.
Yeah, I think Cars 2 is
there.
the only one that's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Everything else is above the 50% threshold, and I think Cars 3 is the lowest. After that, it's 69%. Nice.
Yeah, well, Cars 3 was good. Cars 2 was just awful. All right, we're gonna have to hit the road. KB, I want to give you the honors of doing the outro as you haven't been on the show in a hot bit.
Follow us at Getting the Whole Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Getting the Whole Pod. We're working on relinking everything so that it can get back to normal. Follow Underground at Underground PHI, same platforms, and Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI. Follow us on LinkedIn. Underground Sports Philadelphia is on LinkedIn now. We're testing the waters there and seeing what we can do to grow there. I've personally made some very fun connections on LinkedIn in the past couple of days, which hopefully can lead to some fun things for us. But check us out on LinkedIn and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We're at 763 subscribers. Let's get to 800 before the end of the month. We got some big time live streams coming up on the channel that you won't want to miss, including our first round of the NFL draft and our Premier Lacrosse League college draft extravaganza, which is going to be absolutely insane this year. I'm very excited about it. That's going down on May 7th with myself, DJ, and some soon to be announced featured guests. Yeah, big stuff coming.
I'm looking forward to our NFL live draft party when the Giants crush my soul and pick Thursday night and pick Joshua James McCarthy.
I can't wait for the Giants to draft the second coming of Daniel Jones.
I don't. Sorry, Jonathan James. I'm dumb. Jonathan James McCarthy, who, according to Kay, sounds like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Is going to like JJ McCarthy looks like Zach Wilson after he's like seen some shit. Both of which are proud Shawmut alumni.
He's non-Mormon Zach Wilson.
Oh, so he puts out? It doesn't soak?
Yeah. He does a whole rinse cycle.
You're disgusting. Oh God. And that was recorded live. All right. This has been episode 151 of the Getting the Whole Podcast.
It's the Mew episode.
I'm Stephen McAvoy. I've been playing Pokemon Fire Red recently.
I've been playing Emerald on my phone.
Let's go on Delta.
Yeah.
I'm finishing Fire Red soon. We'll talk strats on the next episode. PIXAR Theory to Pokemon strats. I love it. My. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!